Welcome guys to Word of the Day. My name is Caesar and this is Inspire a Movement. Today we're looking at the word mindfulness. So mindfulness by definition is the quality or state of being conscious or aware of something. It can also mean a mental state that is achieved by focusing one's attention on the present while calmly acknowledging thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations that may surface with no judgment. So one could argue that for large swaths of our lives, it's as if we're running on autopilot. Meaning to say that we're either mentally switched off, essentially, or possibly caught in these recurring thought patterns that are focusing on past traumas, maybe some regrets, past regrets, or even things like planning for the future. So how can we practice mindfulness in a very practical way? So the first thing to do is find a place of isolation, preferably, and sit in an upright posture. As you're doing that, essentially pay attention to the sensation of breathing in and out. And whenever you have thoughts or feelings that surface or pop up, as they naturally do, while holding no judgment, you basically acknowledge that those thoughts and feelings are occurring in the present, and then you try to rechannel or refocus right back to those breathing sensations that you started out with. When you notice those thoughts and feelings sort of surface and pop up, that is a practice in mindfulness. So that's essentially the exercise of practicing mindfulness. You can do it just about anywhere, but again, I recommend that you do it in some form of isolation so that you can really tune in to what you're doing. Why practice mindfulness? Well, for one, it's basically a tool for self-exploration. You can also look at it as promoting health and improving performance. And for some people, you could even argue is part of their spiritual path. So as I personally reflect on mindfulness, I can tell you from many prior segments I've talked about my spirituality, but certainly mindfulness has played a key figure in terms of improving my quality of life. I can tell you when I first started practicing mindfulness, one of the hardest things for me to do was to in fact hold no judgment to the thoughts that were recurring in my head. I think I may have alluded to maybe washing dishes and having these thoughts that brought me back to yesteryear, to things that had happened in my past, traumas that I somehow had never resolved within me and just kept on consuming my head all day, every day, 24/7. You can imagine how exhausting that is. And it's incredibly difficult to try to simmer all of that down and really quiet the volume of that mind chatter, as I call it. But I can tell you from firsthand and from personal experience that when you do, it's very liberating. You feel so much better about yourself. And I'm not going to be hypocritical and tell you that I never have ego pulls, because I do. There are certain things that trigger my ego and bring me into fear and raise that mind chatter volume so that it can be heard. And with it comes stress, anxiety, and not feeling centered. The good thing about knowing about the practice of mindfulness and being centered in your spirituality is that those things can always anchor you back and bring you back to center. So I would say that those two things, spirituality and the practice of mindfulness, for me, have been truly life-altering. So hopefully some of you that can reflect on this word can put some of these things to practice. As you can see, it's very simple and anybody can do it. And it may sound like it's almost too simple to really have some form of radical change in your life, but believe me, it does. Try to practice mindfulness and watch what happens in time. Be patient. I hope that you find these reflections of value. We always do it with great pleasure, and it's always an honor for me, at least, to try to connect with you. Please check in with us throughout the week as we continue putting a lot of valid content, not only here in this forum, but also on our YouTube channel series, in which we will be adding, I think, 3 or 4 additional videos very soon. So be in tune for that, not only there, but also on our website, www.inspireamovement.com. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you have a blessed week. Thank you.